Comprehensible vanishing act of historical proportions. What will it be today? Will it be the huffing and puffing, smoke and mirrors of a guy who's already lost it? Or will it be a return to being one of the greatest players ever? Now, Pat Riley, he just told us that today is about pressing on, which can only mean that it's time to shake the dust off and don't look back.
Big man hoping for a better start. Bulls, Kirk Heinrich, breakout series, both sides of the ball.
He has been tremendous. Kirk Heinrich is probably the reason that they have played as well in all 3 ball games, because he has done a great job at the offensive end. You see his numbers. Defensively, he's been giving Dwayne Wade fits. So if he can bring that same attitude and energy this afternoon, the Bulls have a chance to even the series.
Time now for the players to bring you the starting lineups delivered by AT&T.
Hi, I'm Antoine Walker, starting forward for the Miami Heat. Also joining me at forward from the University of Florida, national champion, Udonis Haslem. At guard from the University of Marquette, Dwayne Flash Wade. At the other guard, also a national champion, Jason Williams. And in the middle, the most dominant big man in the game, Shaquille O'Neal.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Ben Gordon of Chicago Bulls, starting in the backcourt. Joining me is my teammate, Kirk Heinrich, our floor general. In our front court, we have Andres Nocioni, Olympic gold medal winner. We have Malik Allen, another Big East guy from Villanova, at our 4th spot. Joining us at our 5, another Big East guy, Mike Sweetney, AKA Big Footwork. Hope you guys enjoy the game today.
We will, Ben. The noon start, both sides ready as Shaq gets set to jump center with Mike Sweetney. The officials, Monty McCutcheon will toss it, working the game with Ronnie Garrettson and Greg Willard. This game available in high definition on ABC HD. And off we go from the great city of Chicago at high noon on this Sunday afternoon.
Quickness to the ball. Miami has never won a playoff game in this city.
Dwayne Wade steps in for the immediate steal, and here come the Heat with Jason Williams on the point. Missed the last 7 games of the regular season with that knee tendonitis. Has looked good and felt good in the first 3 of this series. Repost by Wade. Here comes Shaq. A lot of contact, no call, and it begins right away with a frustrated Miami sideline.
The picket fence surrounding Shaquille O'Neal. The attempted repost.
Malik Allen, those spots where the Bulls logo are on the court, that's a sweet spot for Malik Allen. He's hit a lot of shots from there in the last 4 weeks.
Well, they have shot the ball extremely well, the Bulls from the perimeter, and every time the Heat think they have them under control, bang, a 3, something inside. So their confidence is extremely high. They're looking for those open opportunities.
First foul on Kirk Heinrich. And the Bulls, who were here for a 15-minute little walkthrough and get the body going, move at about 9:45 local time this morning. Both teams try to get off to an early good start. Jason Williams with this, Shaq the rebound.
As much as we've talked about Shaq having a good game, Dwayne Wade has to have one of those breakout explosive games where he cannot be denied, and he's yet to have it here in Chicago.
The perimeter players for Chicago, Dang, Gordon, Heinrich, Nocioni have been superior to what the Heat has to offer.
Then Gordon missed the 3. O'Neal gets his second rebound, and back come the Heat.
So early start will not be a factor today.
Walker off the mark. Udonis Haslem thrown out of game 1, suspended for game 2. 3 seconds in the lane, not called. Wade on Heinrich. Kirk Heinrich's defense has been a significant part of the story here in the first 3 games.
You mentioned Luol Deng's name. I just was wondering if you got reacquainted with him after game 1. You were down on him.
He woke up and realized that the playoffs have begun.
Miami has opened 0 for 5 here.
But Chicago is not rebounding the ball well on the defensive end, and that will be a problem.
Andres Nocioni over Haslem.
Tremendous closeout defense by Haslem.
And that was a point of emphasis for Pat Riley in the Heat coming in. Denial defensively by Allen. Good job by Malik. 19 to shoot for Miami.
Well, the secret for Miami in Miami was the ability to rebound the ball and push it up the floor, get early opportunities, but Michael Sweetney and the Bulls are up to the challenge here early of getting back.
So Miami's opened 0 for 6. 3 of those attempts blocked by the Bulls.
Come to Shaquille O'Neal. Get him going.
0 for 7 as Haslam misses, and Heinrich pushes the other way. Nice job by Shaq hustling back, deflected out of bounds. It will be Chicago ball with 18 to shoot.
With all of those misses, let me remind you, it's a 2-0 game. Just a 2-0 game.
Steve, these guys have not played since Thursday night. They have been here ready, chomping at the bit. Let's get it going.
And Steve, you heard Bill, the early start will not be a factor here today. Nocioni, surfing time inside, bends like a pretzel to get it around Shaq.
Point noted again. Good morning, Mike.
Good to see you, William.
Happy Sunday.
Lakers-Phoenix Game 2. All 4 playoff series in action today. 2-1. Pivotal Game 4s all around the country. Shaq sees everybody and gets the early whistle there. While we have a second, let's visit with our sideline reporter, Mark Jones.
Guys, it's been a very anxious last 24 hours for head coach Pat Riley of the Miami Heat. Started last night, says he went to bed at 10 o'clock earlier than usual. Got to the arena this morning earlier than usual. Moved our meetings up with him earlier than usual. Pat Riley jumped in a cab, didn't even wait around to get his change from the cab driver. He said that 2 days ago it was a day of purging for his Heat team. Yesterday was a day of rebuilding. He says sometimes you just need a good smack in the face to play better. Guys?
It was an anxious, ready to get to go coach, Michael Sweetney, who's gone glass a lot on Shaq early in this series, almost threw it over the glass. The Heat opened 0 of 8, but the Shaq putback and the Jason Williams jumper square the game at 4.
You know, sometimes too much is made of being blown out. I mean, you know, a blowout game gets the attention of the team that gets smacked real good and they're ready to play. And they had a 2-0 lead coming into the series.
This is a must-win game for Chicago.
Foul was on Jason Williams, his first. And Bill, part of the foul situation as Tyson Chandler comes in. And the defensive problems for Miami were witnessed right there on that play. Williams had a hand on Heinrich. The Bulls have exploited Miami's weakness on the perimeter defensively, and they have been blown by the Heat on a pretty regular basis.
They have younger, fresher legs. They just have to capitalize on that.
Travel, no basket. Chandler called for the wall.
Puts up his arms and says, what do I have to do to execute a play? The pivot foot, the right foot is the pivot foot. Correct call by the official. The shuffling of it to get going. Easy play to call.
The Heat won Game 1, 111-106, and then Game 2 in Miami, 115-108. So we have had high-scoring games, all 3 in this series. Shaq physical with Chandler.
Pat Riley, the master of execution of set offensive plays, the history of his great teams. And Ben Gordon able to get it going, but the way that they're swinging the ball from one side, bring it up one side, kick it to the high post, and then around to the weak side, dump it into Shaq, who's got great position, unstoppable.
Wade takes Heinrich baseline. Help is there from Chandler. Heinrich didn't reestablish back in bounds. It'll be Miami ball. Steve alluded to it at the top. Scott Skiles' team has done a very good job throughout the regular season on Dwayne Wade. You've heard the stat, and the guys in the studio mentioned it. Struggled against the Bulls more than any other team. And in this series, although he's had games of 30, 21, and 26, 9 of 22 from the field last time out, and an air ball there. Shot clock running down. O'Neal has it taken away. Wade returns the favor on Heinrich.
Don't foul him if you're Tyson Chandler.
Wade lost the handle. Lob to Shaq. Good job by Dwayne to get back in bounds before he picked up the ball. O'Neal has opened up with 6 points and 5 boards.
This is the biggest game that any of these Bull players have ever played in. How will they respond? Scott Skiles didn't know.
Well, they play the same way all the time. And I think that the bigness of the moment is not a concern for them because they just play hard. They come at you. They're relentless. You got the fiery Nocioni making plays on his own. These guys are here to compete.
Haslam. Udonis Haslam hits the hoop. Bill alluded to biggest NBA playoff game for these players. Heinrich has played in a national championship game with Kansas. Nocioni successful in the gold medal Olympic game for Argentina a couple of years ago. Ben Gordon champion as well in the NCAA.
I stand by my statement.
Nocioni for three. We dropped the tag on him, Red Bull. He brings energy to these Bulls, and he brings some pretty good offense. He stepped it up in the playoffs in his first 2 NBA seasons.
Keep taking the ball to the hoop. The Heat have not got a lot of free throw attempts despite the excessive contact.
Deflection by Heinrich, 4 to shoot. Williams all the way in.
You see the Bulls do a great job reacting to penetration. They're not able to get inside. There are 2-3 Bulls.
The crowd is alive. Pat Riley pressing on, trying to find a way.
Big games in big cities are a big deal. We saw it in LA Friday night, and they are ready at noon on Sunday in Chicago. Shaquille O'Neal frustrated in foul trouble game 3, 6 points and 5 boards, but Nocioni has responded with 7 for the Bulls. Ben Gordon's knocked down a triple, and Chicago leads by 4 halfway through the first of game 4.
The NBA playoffs on ABC Sports, brought to you by Nissan, who invites you to shift the way you move through the world. And Subway Restaurants. Subway. Eat fresh.
Bulls by 4. Time for Gatorade Cooler Talk. The talk in this series has been the hard fouls, starting with game 1.
Haslam's hustle kept it alive. Gordon takes it away. The Bulls run now back behind the play. Joey Crawford has a two technical fouls, and an ejection of Udonis Haslem. Haslam ejected as Crawford behind the play, called 2 T's.
And then in game 3, with the Bulls well ahead, James Posey took that run and the elbow from behind to Kirk Heinrich. He was immediately tossed from the game, and word coming down on Friday that Posey was suspended for today's game 4, I should say. So the story, really the rap sheet for Miami in this playoff series, has been 3 T's, 2 tosses, a couple of suspensions, a flagrant, and a $25,000 fine.
Which went to Shaquille O'Neal after his criticism of the officiating staff of game 3. Pat Riley has been calling his team out ever since. Shaq rolls in and can't finish. The shooting woes continue for Miami. They're about 30% after starting the game 0 for 8. The Bulls are on fire, Snap.
Well, that's been the Bulls' MO in this series, that they've been able to shoot the ball extremely well. When they've gotten open opportunities, they've gone in. Allen gets his second.
And right by the Bulls logo, Scott Skiles was up and applauding before the shot by Allen. He loved the way the play was run. 8-0 run, Haslam inside, Antoine Walker, the Chicago native, like Dwayne Wade, cleans it up.
And the difference in the attack is that Chicago is more perimeter oriented and the Miami Heat are more inside, and you see the Bulls defense has made it more difficult for the Miami Heat to be successful.
And what's allowing Chicago to shoot the ball so well is the type of shots they're getting. The perimeter defenders for Pat Riley are not getting the job done. Guys are down the lane and then dishing to people who were spotting up wide open on the perimeter for Chicago.
Foul was on Dwayne Wade, his first, 2 fouls on each team in the first 7.5 of game 4. Nocioni.
A very difficult shot.
Antoine Walker runs to the line. Nice pass to Wade, who missed his first 3, but gets that one.
And I think in the case of Dwayne Wade, he has to just slow himself down and take the shots when they come available, and he will start to get a scoring rhythm.
Antoine Walker has to come alive offensively as well. Kirk Heinrich.
Off a major league screen by Malik Allen and worked well by Kirk.
The flow of the offense for Chicago, a thing of beauty in the 2 games here.
They've got Shaq further out on the wing than he wants to be. Let's see how he works his way inside. One more time for Shaq.
Offensive. First foul on O'Neal.
Tyson Chandler standing his ground, which is so difficult on the repost, where Shaq uses that enormous, immense size to just back in. Easy play to call. You have to go around people in basketball.
He's been going through people his entire career, and now he's getting called for those plays. That is what Shaq is complaining about. That used to be my move.
Interesting, but wrong.
Luol Deng has checked into the game for the Bulls. Heinrich comes all the way, and O'Neal has pulled down his 6th rebound in the first 8 minutes. Jason Williams.
Tyson Chandler's transition defense. Superb.
Well, those were the layups that they made in Miami that they have not made here in Chicago. And they all seem to be pressing and rushing, trying to finish those shots. Shandon Anderson in the game, Antoine Walker out.
And Gary Payton in as well, Steve, comes in. He'll guard Ben Gordon defensively.
Antoine Walker has never played well at the United Center. One of the lowest career field goal percentage of any player who's ever played in this great edifice.
Is that because he's a Chicago guy?
Saved by Heinrich to Nocioni. Long pass that Deng runs down. Tyson Chandler. Is that 2 on Shaq? It is. And that's what Pat Riley worries about so much. When does Shaq get his second? Does it happen in the first? It does. And the building is well aware of it as well.
In game 3, that was only the 3rd time in Shaquille O'Neal's illustrious Hall of Fame championship career that the opposing starting center had more points and more rebounds than Shaq did in 174 postseason games.
They're going to have to take him out of the ball game. Alonzo Mourning's going to get a run here. We'll find out how effective he is. He has not played a lot of basketball due to the injury, and Riley doesn't think he's in the greatest shape.
To remind you, TNT, after our doubleheader today, they have a doubleheader. Cleveland, Washington, San Antonio, Sacramento, game 4. Both home teams trying to square the series. Coverage starts at 7 Eastern. NBA TV tomorrow. Detroit at Milwaukee, and Mark Jones called the game last night, just an hour and a half north of here, as the Bucks got 40 from Michael Redd, shot 60%, and beat the Pistons to make that a 2-1 series. Wade is fouled, and it was Tyson Chandler picking up his first. He doesn't want to pick up fouls from Shaq's out of the game, but he picks it up, and we have a timeout. Bulls by 5. They've opened 8 of 13 from the field. Early story here, game 4 in Chicago. Shaquille O'Neal off to the good start, but to the bench with 2 personal fouls, Steve.
Well, what Miami wanted to do was get Shaquille O'Neal involved in the game often and early, but the Chicago Bulls are doing a good job of collapsing, making it difficult for him to get a good rhythm and a good feel for where the defense is coming from. He's had some success, but he's also struggled in establishing the kind of dominance in the low post he'd like to have.
In this series, game 3, 8 points total. He already has 6. Shaq was 0 for 6 from the free throw line in game 3. That's also historical territory. He had 7 turnovers. Yikes, what a nightmare.
But more importantly, the foul trouble. Now on the bench with 2 out of that timeout. After the foul on Tyson Chandler, the Bulls bring in Chris Duhon for Kirk Heinrich. Wade goes right at Duhon, and he's taken him baseline several times in this series.
Well, this is the guy that's going to have to carry the offensive load. He's going to have to step up and really adjust things at the offensive end so the Bulls don't control him.
He has to do it in the team concept, though, Steve. We see the teams that have been successful have been playing as a unit.
Gordon draws the defense. Duhon faked the 3, and Ben will take it. Rebound, Luol Deng could not squeeze it. Nice job by Payton and Haslam to keep it alive. And here comes Gary Payton, the 16-year veteran, still that elusive chase for a championship ring.
Well, let me give you an idea of how a star has to respond when the other star is out. LeBron James had to carry his team until somebody could help him late in the 4th quarter. That is what Dwayne Wade is going to have to do while Shaq is on the bench.
Payton knocks down a 3. Gary had just 3 points in game 3 here in Chicago Thursday night.
Chicago cannot even exhale with Shaq with 2 fouls. They have to continue to attack, and this is the man right here. Gordon and Nocioni playing the 2-man game.
Nocioni face-to-face with Haslam, puts him in the spin cycle for 2.
The more you see this guy, the more you fall in love with him. Not just the stats, incredible numbers across the board, percentage included. How about the rotation defensively, the contribution to all team aspects?
And the heart. He brings team-defining heart. Came to help on Wade. Luol Deng with the block. The Bulls have come up with blocks here in this first quarter. 5 of them, in fact.
Malik Allen has 2 of them.
Gordon to Deng. Ben keeps the possession alive. Final minute of the first.
You can see what Houston has done for the Chicago Bulls. They're quicker to the ball. They react better, and that's been the difference in the first quarter in holding the lead.
Mark Jones.
Guys, during that last Chicago huddle, Scott Skiles telling his team, offensively, let's keep getting our early looks. Punch it in and push it up court and be ready for Miami to play a little bit of zone. We got to drive the seams. Defensively, said, guys, get ready with this lineup in there. Wade is the guy. Let's make sure that we get the help there in time. Keep it going. Back to you guys.
For Chicago, Tyson Chandler, who was just substituted out here to prevent foul trouble, he has to be as well prepared when Shaq's on the bench as when Shaq is in the game. It has not been the case so far.
Antoine Walker over Luol Deng. Antoine, who was doling out tickets in a thick stack in the locker room before the game. Over 100, he told us before the game, as the Chicago native returns home. And off the ball, we have foul inside on Shandon Anderson for Miami.
How do you get 100 tickets in this place, which is number 2 in NBA attendance coming in?
So I told him, I said, that makes this game even more important, because if you can win here and close out the series in Miami in Game 5, that'll save you a pretty good chunk of change, not having to find all those tickets for Game 6.
The big money guys have the big money to buy the tickets. That's how they get the tickets.
Miami does not have to win today to win this series.
Heinrich missed the 3, and the shot clock off at the back end of the first for Miami.
That is not the case for Chicago.
Well, if you want to say that, I mean, they can go to Miami and win a game. They have played very well. So, I mean, I think it really is on Miami to have to come up with a game that puts a lot of doubt in the minds of the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls have been right there. Even when they were down big in Game 2, they came back to make a game of it.
Last possession of the quarter, it is Heinrich. And that brings the first quarter to an end.
Chicago relaxed when Shaq went out with 2 fouls. Momentum has swung back. The depth of Miami Heat with Pat Riley's experience has turned the tide late in the first.
Miami ends the first quarter on a 9-2 run here in this very pivotal Game 4. Bulls trying to square the series against Riley, Shaq, and Dwayne Wade. Miami 23, Chicago 21 after 1.
You're watching NBA Sunday on ABC.
Another circus shot. Oh my!
Home of the NBA Finals.
Second quarter of Game 4 here at the United Center. Bulls down by 2. Here's what Scott Skiles was telling his team during the first period.
Pushing the ball, get our good early looks, take care of the ball. Take care of the ball.
And Bill and Steve, that was part of the recipe early as the Bulls opened a 5-point lead.
You would think that a team that relies on so much perimeter offense would have a poor shooting series, but they have shot the ball extremely well. They finished the quarter shooting 50%. We talked to Scott Skiles before the game. He said, well, we could have a bad game in terms of making shots, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Scott Skiles, his 3rd year here with the Bulls after a couple of successful seasons with Phoenix. Of course, Scott was a championship player in high school in the state of Indiana, in Plymouth. Not too far from here, because it's not too far from South Bend, Indiana. 10-year player, 5 teams, including Shaq's teammate for a couple of years with the Orlando Magic. Skiles still has the NBA record for assists in a game with 30. And there's Alonzo Mourning inside, getting on the board. 4th time here in this postseason.
Alonzo very frustrated, only playing 8 minutes, let his feelings spill over into the media. A little surprising there, just coming back for the first time in 5 weeks.
Horton, a 3. So guys, when Shaq went out with that second personal foul, the Bulls had a 5-point lead. Miami outscoring Chicago to this point by 6 with O'Neal on the bench.
I'm not ready to argue that they're better off without Shaq.
I wasn't saying that. I'm just stating a fact for you to interpret. But what a pass. Taken away by Duhan. Good hands by the former Dookie.
Dang and Heinrich are the ones that have to come alive offensively.
Sweetney with Alonzo Mourning fouling him, and that's an interesting moment there because Michael Sweetney was at Georgetown essentially almost a decade after Alonzo Mourning, and Mourning was a mentor, much like Patrick Ewing was a mentor to Mourning. And you'll see Sweetney get positioned inside early, and the nice feed by Duhan will earn the free throws.
The strength of Michael Sweetney is that wide body and his strength, and he loves to play down in the low post. So if they can get him the ball in there, not only does he draw fouls, but he also gets a chance to score and give the Bulls something that they don't have on a regular basis, a low post inside presence.
And Zoe was always on Sweetney to get himself in better shape, and Scott Skiles has been on him for his weight during the season. But as Alonzo was coming back after his kidney transplant and he was testing his game, it was up against some of the old Georgetown guys like Sweetney. When Sweetney was a young man, he'd see all the old pros come to Washington, D.C. and go up against Zoe and company. So they've been intertwined in their careers, although a decade removed.
When you look at Sweetney, compare him to the other Georgetown centers, Miami still have yet to get to the free throw line. Nearly inexcusable. But Ewing, Mourning, Mutombo, I mean, all just totally physically fit.
Ben Gordon, when he gets going, he can really be a streaky shooter. 4 of 6 from the field. He's the only player in double digits. The Bulls have scored the last 8.
You know, he's an explosive offensive player, and when his confidence is high, he really believes he can make almost every three-point field goal he takes.
Shandon Anderson off the mark, rebound Sweetney, and they will look for Gordon. They know to feed him when he's cooking.
What a pass.
Sweetney tried to fake Mourning. Mourning got the best of him.
One of the league's premier shot blockers, still in only limited minutes. Alonzo Mourning in the top 5 in shot blocks this year, and only playing 20 minutes a game as a reserve.
Well, he had a tremendous start. When Shaq was out, he was the guy that they really relied on and anchoring their defense, and he did so. Walker, another one of those strange air balls from distance. You think he needs glasses? You can't miss some of the shots he misses the way he misses them.
For a good shooter.
For a shooter, not a good shooter.
right. But he can get streaky
I'm with
as
you.
well.
I think he is a good shooter, Antoine Walker.
You're just looking for somebody else on your side for once. Shaq back in the game with 2 fouls.
I also think he's a very good all-around basketball player.
Wade is back in the game as well. Wow.
Nocioni baseline. And Nocione's so steady about using the rim, coming to the other side as a shield. He is 5 of 7 from the field.
What I like about Nocioni is the same thing that I like about Steve Nash and Boris Diaw. They never play the game trying to out-jump the opposition.
Shaq reposted. Nocioni came down for defense. He reached in and draws the personal, his first.
What does that mean? If you can't out-jump someone, you won't try to.
I disagree with that, too.
To see Alonzo coming back, he injured his calf muscle, torn calf muscle in a game 5 weeks and 3 days ago in Detroit. Did not play for 5 weeks and then returned for those limited moments in game 3. Fans chanting Nocioni here. Wade almost turned it over. Shaq steps. Timeout.
Chicago's got 6 points in the paint this afternoon, all of them by Andres Nocioni.
To their feet one more time at the United Center. Ben Gordon, Andres Nocioni have 22 of the Bulls' 31 points. Chicago's young core crew has carried this team to a point where they and this city are starting to believe, we push Miami deep in this series?
Dan Patrick in our Times Square studios. Taco Bell updates. Michael Redd on a roll last night. Went for 40. Pistons give up the most points they've allowed since November. Looking at the Eastern Conference bracket, these guys will go at it again coming up on Monday night in Game 4. Cavs and Wizards. Can the Wizards play defense against LeBron like they did in Game 2? Nets and Pacers all knotted up at 2 apiece. And you're watching the Heat and the Bulls. Game 4. Let's go back to Mike Chirico. Mike.
and wins by the home team to make all those series 2-2. Andres Nocioni doing his part with Chicago. Look at last year and this in the postseason. 4.5 more points last year, 10 more points this year. On pace again here, Steve, in Game 4.
What Nocioni has done is become acclimated to the NBA style of play and has expanded on all areas of his game. He drives the ball much better this year. He sticks it better from the perimeter, and when he wants to shoot the ball, he's under control. So you take that raging bull competitive spirit and put some control in there, and Nocioni is a star and a bright one here in Chicago.
26 years old, undrafted dual citizen, Argentina and Italy, and as we mentioned earlier, part of that Olympic gold medal team in 2004 for Argentina. And here he is for three. Sweetney chasing it down. It's last touched by Michael.
Sweetney should have shot that ball. He's right in there. He's got momentum. Just take it right to him. You have to dominate the basket area if you're going to win. Not by out-jumping people, by timing and position.
Well, what's critical here right now is for the Miami Heat to get a score. Everybody talks about stops all the time, but you can't win in the NBA if you can't score. They try a little two-man game and turn it over.
Miami again, right in the middle of everything.
Carried it, had it on his hip, and Greg Willard was right there to call it. Guys, Miami has scored just 2 points here in this second quarter. The Bulls have scored the last 10 to erase a 2-point deficit.
You know,
in transition, Nocioni, who can handle that ball.
Now he got a little
easy play to call.
He got a little carried away.
But Nocioni has been one of the premier playoff performers in this year's run for the Roses.
Miami struggling in this quarter, Bill. They are 1 of 5. They've turned it over 3 times here in the first 4 minutes.
And they've gone away from their strategy, which is pounded inside. When was the last time Shaq had a touch?
Shaq has not been that effective so far. So touch or no touch, it kind of goes right down the lane. You know, they've got to calm down at the offensive end and get a consistent idea of where they want to hurt the Chicago Bulls, and they haven't done it.
A push right now by the Bulls, ignite this crowd and really create some separation, maybe some seeds of doubt in the hearts and minds of the Heat.
Largest lead for Chicago. Udonis Haslem was tied up, calls timeout.
Well, when you have to call a timeout to maintain possession, to fight off this 12-0 Chicago Bull run, the Heat are in trouble.
Riley wanted a 20-second timeout, and they give it to him.
It has been 4 scoreless minutes, Steve, for Miami. Kirk Heinrich gets his way to the hole for his second hoop. Part of this 12-0 run. NBA Sunday here on ABC. Chicago against Miami. Game 4 of the series. What's enjoyable about this series is these teams have and franchises the personality of their cities. Miami's flashy, the big stars, Shaq, Pat Riley, Dwayne Wade, the whole deal. Chicago's just hardcore, tough, blue collar. Scott Skiles played that way, coaches that way. And those contrasts are showing up that both can be effective. They go to O'Neal out of the timeout to stop the 12-0 run.
And what a drought it has been, even though it's raining here in Chicago today. The last 7 trips prior to that dunk out of the timeout, 0 for 4, 3 turnovers and 0 points for the Heat.
Gary Payton is called for the first personal foul of the day.
You know, there was a time in the Glove's career where you could not get by him. He was a stick and stay guy, and you now find him chasing a lot, and that's how he's picking up a lot of his fouls. You know, he takes it personal, and so what you better do is deal at the offensive end because Heinrich is lighting you up.
Steve, this Bull team is the youngest team of the 16 in this year's playoffs. I don't even know if they know who Gary Payton is.
How did Kirk get through that as Wade was diving over? Bulls by 8. And the steal. Here comes Gordon with Nocioni. Oh, beautiful pass to Andres. Timeout. Miami. 16-2 run for the Bulls. Bulls trying to square the series. Miami a sloppy quarter, allowing Chicago the big lead.
NBA playoffs on ABC Sports, brought to you by TD Ameritrade, the independent spirit.
(16-4) this quarter for the Chicago Bulls, leading Shaquille O'Neal and the Miami Heat by 10. O'Neal picked up his second personal foul. Late stages of the first quarter, he is trying to come back from his second poorest offensive effort in his long playoff career, the worst being a 7-pointer against Houston a few seasons ago. Each time he's come back with a very good game, and most of those have been within the same series. So he came back against the same team with a good performance. 8 thus far here today.
With 6 rebounds, no assists, does have 2 fouls, 2 turnovers as well, and not a block. While the numbers are decent, the impact has been negligible. Another turnover. 5 in the second quarter alone.
But Wade is taking the ball into trouble. And instead of just going to a spot and going up and taking a shot, he's taking one dribble too many, getting hung up in the air. Well, that was Luol Deng, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
He knows the playoffs have now started after game 1, Steve.
So that was his first ever playoff game, Bill. Here's O'Neal twisting on Chandler, going the other way. Third foul on O'Neal.
An elbow to the head of Tyson Chandler. Again, that used to be part of his move. He used to club people with that elbow and then get the shot away, get to the free throw line. Pat Riley is barking out there saying, you know, watch the elbow right in the head. Knocked down.
2 hands on the ball. I don't like that call. I do not like that call. He's got 2 hands. He's pivoting. He doesn't have he's not swinging his elbows at all. He'd have 4 points and 5 turnovers, 6 turnovers in the second quarter alone.
And they only get, guys, 3.5 minutes out of Shaq here in this second quarter. The Bulls lead by 12. Miami came back without Shaq when he went out at the end of the first quarter. Alonzo Mourning comes in. Immediately the Bulls turn it over against that zone.
Wade has got to do more of that. Even though he missed that shot, he has got to do more of that. He will find his way offensively, and then he'll be able to get to the rim. They are playing him for the drive. Jason Williams gets called for the foul against Ben Gordon.
Once again, the Bulls are faster than the Heat.
And this is a game of speed and quickness. And the advantages that Miami does have with experience, maturity, the talent, they're not taking advantage of those as the questions continue to persist.
Oh, what are the questions?
Are they in good enough shape? Not only physical shape, but mental shape to be able to fight off this relentless team, which are starting to remind us of the old quote from Paul Westphal when he said, they're like cockroaches, they won't go away.
You said that Chicago had to win this game, so they're playing like a team that has to win the game. Miami is playing like a team that has one to burn.
Wade, 2 of 8 from the field. There is so much traffic every time he gets there, and he is fouled.
But the problem, Steve, for Miami, if they're just going to allow him to burn one, which they allowed him to do in game 3, now you get a steamroll of momentum and a team that won't ever stop. And you have a historical fact that there's been 10 teams that have been down 2-0 to come back and win.
That's not a lot of history.
Not a lot of history. But they were on the losing end of that a year ago, Chicago against Washington.
Speaking of the Washington Wizards, you'll see them on TNT against Cleveland. Game 1 of their doubleheader, I should say. It's all of ours. It's the whole playoffs. We all are part of it. San Antonio, Sacramento's game 2. NBA TV tomorrow, Detroit, Milwaukee, 8:30 Eastern. The coverage there. That foul was on Heinrich, his second. Well, he and Chandler go to the bench, and Snapper, we were there in Washington. Let me get your feeling on game 4 between the Cavs and the Wizards.
Well, I think that, Washington knows they gave that game away. They played an extremely effective first half and then went to sleep in the second. So it is up to the Cleveland Cavaliers to play an effective game all the way around. Wade with a miss.
Out of bounds off Nocioni, who was laying out of bounds after the Duhon turnover. He'd have missed their last 5 shots.
In tonight's games, both home teams have to win or it's over.
It's over?
All 4 series are 2-1 that are being played today. The Lakers, the home team, that can go up 3-1 in game 2 of our ABC doubleheader coming up after this one.
Now, remember, we're looking at a 2-7 matchup here. And 2 has only won 4 times since that format has been in place. So you're always talking about historical proportions and references. The pressure is always on the lower seed to overcome.
But the Heat seven has won 4 times.
Yeah, 7 has won 4 times, but the Heat are the only Eastern Conference team as a 2 seed to go down against the 7 seed. That was in '98 to the Knicks in 5.
Gordon, good hands in the passing lane, 9 to shoot for Miami. The Heat have Antoine Walker, Dwayne Wade, Jason Williams, Udonis Haslem, and Alonzo Mourning for Shaquille O'Neal, who's down with 3 fouls. And there you see, Bill, the 2-7. That was a best-of-5 series, of course. Best of 7 here in this opening round. Wade can't finish. Malik Allen says it was me, and he draws his first.
What the Miami Heat want to do is just stay close. They want to try to get this lead from 10 down to 6 or 4 points over the next 4 minutes and 52 seconds. They've got to establish some sort of offensive rhythm. You see the numbers for Wade. He has not had a good scoring game so far, so that means he's got to be more aggressive and look for scoring attempts to carry his team while Shaq is on the bench.
Dwayne Wade from Chicago, now 29 of 73 from the field in this series. He went to Richards High School. Well, being born in Chicago, Richards is in Oak Lawn, but he's a South Side Chicago guy. Came in wearing his world champion White Sox hat when we visited with him yesterday. Has shut up most contact with his family during this series as Duhan hits the 3. People talk about the distraction of being home and family. He did visit with them on Friday, but he's tried not to be involved every day in conversation, so his pure focus would be on this series.
We could only hope.
His mom was here Thursday, not here today. She's a preacher, and as Dwayne told me, there's only one thing that comes above the kids. That's God. 2 to shoot. Does Zoe know it? He did. Didn't get it. Nocioni the rebound.
This guy, Nocioni, is so much fun to watch. He's always in the right position. His hands are always ready. So quick, Duhan.
Mourning deters the shot and sends Miami back. The Heat struggling in this quarter, just 8 points.
Duhan playing with a painfully debilitating back injury, a herniated disc.
Wade right at the rim with Nocioni trying to get there. Stops an 0 for 7 drought, and Skiles will take a timeout here. 3:39 left. And Scott Skiles and the Bulls trying to go to Miami for Game 5 on Tuesday. All even at 2, have the lead. Dwayne Wade's gotten to the line twice and got that dunk. He leads Miami in scoring with 10.
Nobody has coached more postseason games in NBA history than Pat Riley, but right now struggling to find some answers to the pesky Chicago Bulls. Dan Patrick, Mark Jackson, Michael Wilbon in our Times Square studios. Before the game, you guys said that despite being up 2-1, Miami was desperate.
Well, they're certainly not playing desperate basketball. It seems like the Bulls are the basketball team that's desperate and responding.
Shaquille O'Neal with 3 fouls, and Dwayne Wade seems like the only guy really giving them any energy and playing pretty well, even when he's not shooting well. I don't know what they can do.
Energy-wise, too. You know, you just have to wonder where this energy is supposed to be for the Miami Heat.
You're only as good as your leader, Dan.
I'm not sure how to take that.
You guys can figure it out for halftime, Dan. See you, Michael and Mark, coming up. You mentioned Pat Riley, playoff game 259. He's been in plenty of situations, Steve. We talked about up or down 2-1 in this second quarter with Shaq getting in foul trouble. The Bulls have taken it to his team.
Well, the Bulls have been the more aggressive team, and when you look at the field goal percentage, 58% now. They've gotten more layups. They've gotten more wide open opportunities. Shaq picks up that foul right there on his bench, and that sits him down. But I think that there has to be a calmness at the offensive end for the Heat, which is not present. They seem to be rushing everything, and you can't win when you're out of control.
And it was Riley who told us guys, hey, no one comes to the building thinking that we don't want Miami to win. Don't get involved with the officials or anybody else. It is on you and your personal pride here today. There are a lot of veterans and leaders in that locker room and on these Miami Heat roster it's up to you guys to carry us over the adversity.
Well, with Pat Riley's message of press it on today, the Heat, they are taking it inside. They're dominating the paint statistically. Goliak clanks from the outside, but they're not getting to the free throw line. Dwayne Wade's been the only guy that's taken free throws. He's made all 4 of his attempts.
Nocioni again.
You need to make shots. Forget about the free throw line. They are not making field goals. They're shooting 35%, and their shot selection is woeful.
And they've only made 3 here in the second quarter. Making 4 as Antoine Walker hits the 3.
How many times did that bounce up? 4?
Well, he went Brent Barry and Kevin Martin on us from that Sacramento-San Antonio series. A bounce either way, that series would be different. Allen almost returned the favor. What hustle by Luol Deng, taken away by Walker. It leads Miami out. Jason Williams runs to the corner. Air ball to Wade.
What a fine cross-court lob pass. Jason Williams, the vision to see Dwayne Wade standing all alone, froze the defenders, set his teammate up perfectly.
Only you could interpret that as a pass.
He's 1 of 7 from the field. Malik Allen missed it, so Miami, nice little chance to come back here. Both Mourning and Shaq on the bench back into the second quarter.
It is a 6-point game, but you've got to continue to score the ball if you're the Miami Heat. So that means move the ball, don't dribble it. Walker, not that time. No 4 penalties for him.
But Goliak hustles and takes it away.
Patience for Miami, starting to flow your way a little bit. Over the top.
Wade couldn't convert. It is 4 on 3 for the Bulls. Deng is fouled by the recovering defender, Goliak.
Pat Riley realizing that this game is just too fast for his big franchise players, Shaq and Alonzo Mourning. Has to come with a quicker attack.
Well, Shaq's on the bench with his foul trouble, and Mourning has already played 8 minutes in this game. That's as much as he played. And Pat was telling us he hasn't done any 5-on-5 work in rehabbing from this torn calf muscle.
Well, speed kills, and we know that. That hurt Detroit last night. They were able to play the quicker game, and they had the Pistons on their heels. That has been the story of this first half of play. 1:30 left to play. And it'll be up to Pat Riley and the Heat to try to reel in the Bulls and slow the game down, make it a half-court game where they can slug it out.
Jason Williams, 2 fouls on the bench for the back end of this quarter. Long pass over to Duhan. 3 come to Malik Allen. Nocioni has it, 5 to shoot. It's an offensive foul, trying to get space on Antoine Walker.
He would have been a pretty good fighter because any kind of contact, he's going to bounce back. He's going to hit you with something. Got a little bump and reach right out and hook Antoine Walker. You watch him come out and say, no, I'm not taking that.
Easy play to call.
Sure is. Red Bull goes to the bench with 2 fouls, and Eric Piatkowski comes in. And Piatkowski, one of those veteran, experienced guys who's been a great tutor and role model for the young players who lead this Bulls team. And he's come in and hit a couple of big shots in this series as well. Duhan, the primary defender on Wade. Another deflection, turns it against Miami. 11 turnovers.
The turnovers, yeah, but I do not like what Chicago is doing defensively on the pick and roll. They're just sliding. You've got to turn the guy back. These guys are coming around the corner, and the big guys are not placing their feet properly.
No fouls to give. Offensive foul on Ben Gordon. That will be his first.
What are you saying? I mean, they're doing the job on the pick and roll. What are you saying? They're ahead. Well, how can you not like them?
Because Miami is not finishing off the mismatch that they're getting once they just slide off there. As you're a big man and that pick comes out, you have to, if you're going to step out, you step out and turn them back the other way.
These subs are so important late in the quarter to avoid foul trouble. Gordon has 1. He's going to sit, and Gennaro Pargo is going to come in, play a little defense. If Chicago gets the ball back after a dead ball, he'll slide Gordon back for a chance to score.
You know, Pargo is a guy that can catch fire very quickly, and so he may get to finish the quarter out. But this is a big possession for Wade and the Miami Heat. A chance to get within 4 if they can score.
And certainly a 2-for-1 chance. Piatkowski defensively helps out on Walker. Duhan takes a timeout, and the Bulls have a 20 to take. So that one worked out better than Haslam's a moment ago.
Quickness to the ball. Chris Duhan, that's a winner right there.
We are back here in Chicago. During this time, I want to show you this, guys. This is a Miami team that is on edge, on the edge of unraveling. Gary Payton and Dwayne Wade having words, and Riley will step in there, and Ron Rothstein, the assistant, and Shaq and Antoine Walker. It's the competitive moment within a team, of course, and you love the passion of it. But guys, this is a 2-seed. This is a team with championship aspirations, and they are clearly on edge here today.
This is unbelievably uncalled for by Gary Payton. He cannot do that. Shaq has got to get in between those two guys, sit them down and say, hey, we are here to win this game and this championship. What's going on here?
14 to shoot, 30 in the half. Malik Allen to Pargo, as Snapper said, he can get hot with a shot. Mishandles. Shot clock at 3 and 2. It's Haslam on the turnover. Udonis Haslam.
Good aggressive defense by Dwayne Wade made that happen, so it's a 4-point game.
And a big end to the quarter here. Miami has scored the last 7. Here's the last trip.
It's so much concern about saving those fouls, giving up a ton of points here.
Pargo, Malik Allen in traffic. Didn't finish. Off in time. And halftime. So a good push by Miami takes away a little bit of that margin the Bills built in the first half.
Miami very fortunate to be this close. Plus, they've taken the momentum away from the Bulls.
Okay, Mark Jones with Andres Nocioni.
Andres, you had a very successful first half. How were you able to frustrate Shaquille O'Neal as a team?
We need to work together, you know, we need to collapse the zone when Shaquille O'Neal cut the ball, you know, but we need to keep working like the first half if we want to win the game.
Why were you successful in scoring at the offensive end?
I don't know. I think I'm playing with confidence, you know. The coach gave me confidence for shot. And it's difficult for Walker and Haslam guard me because I try to open the court, you know, and take my shot.
All right, congratulations. Good luck in the second half.
Okay, thank you.
Back to you guys.
Okay, Mark, thank you. Nocioni, 15 points, continuing his very good series. He's scored over 18 in each game. T-Mobile halftime report. The guys will analyze the half, preview Game 2 of our ABC Playoff Sunday doubleheader, and talk about Kobe and his changing number. Pat Riley has a very interesting locker room at halftime. Got to get the Heat on the same page. They are on edge. The Bulls looking to even the best of 7 at 2. They led by as many as 12. They only lead by 4 at the half in Chicago. T-Mobile halftime report from New York next. And here in the United Center, the fans of the Baby Bulls hoping Chicago can have another half like the first and square this best of 7 series at 2 games apiece. Mike Tirico, Bill Walton, Steve Snapper Jones, Mark Jones with us as well. Headlines going into half 2, Bill.
Chicago, they got too conservative. They pulled it back. You are not going to be able to back in and win this critically must-win game for the Chicago Bulls.
I sense you've switched over, and Miami is no longer your favorite team. The Heat have to continue to try to get themselves under control at the offensive end. They got to make some shots.
Let's take a look at the DHL storyline from the first half, and it was a first half of the continued good play, as the guys in the studio mentioned, of Andres Nocioni. 15 points, 7 attempts from the field, 3 rebounds. Shaquille O'Neal only played 3 minutes in the second quarter, picking up his 3rd personal foul. Dwayne Wade, 4 of 12 from the field, although he hit a couple at the back end of the second period.
Concerns about team unity and team spirit for Miami. The halftime scene in the locker room for the Heat will be critical. How are they going to pull this together?
Well, remember, they're only down 4. That's what they have to remember. Wade got hit in the eye and is trying to get himself together. 9 on the clock.
Well, don't shoot it, please.
Antoine Walker does and misses as the 3rd begins with a Ben Gordon rebound.
That's the best shot they could get out of a dead ball after a 15-minute strategizing session. How about dumping it into the big man?
Michael Sweetney has gone at Shaq quickly just to move him around. Gordon, 3. And O'Neal gets the rebound, his 7th of the game, to go with 8 points.
Shaquille has 3 fouls. Sweetney has 1. Chandler has 1. Who would have ever thought?
Shaq spins on Sweetney. And gets the hoop to make it a 2-point game. Remember, Miami scored the last 7 of the second, so they have a 9-0 run over the halftime break.
Notice on that particular spin, Shaq kept the elbows in, so there would be no chance he could get an offensive foul. Gordon
got another look up top, and Ben Gordon now has 14. Nocioni leads the Bulls with 15. And Scott Skiles said, we've shot it great from 3 in this series. Some game they're not going to go in. Not today so far.
I'm not sure why Miami cannot extend their defense to guard these threes. They got
Shaq, they'll blow by him, Bill.
They got Shaq behind them.
Here is a foul underneath, and that gets Shaq into foul trouble. You know, all the talk of Shaq getting in foul trouble in the last game, it wasn't all Shaq's fault. Several of them were blow-bys where he had to help defend.
You got to play contained defense, but when you're playing with a great shot blocker and defensive force behind you, all you have to do is guard from the three-point line to the free throw line, and Shaq will take care of everything else.
Shaq has not been a great shot blocker this year. I mean, you might be in yesteryear when that happened, but it's not happening this year.
2 to shoot, Haslam. That almost became a turnover, but Miami able to break down the Bulls' defense. 3-point game.
Nobody was complaining about Shaq's numbers after game 1 and 2.
Isn't that the beauty of going on the road in the playoffs? The veteran experienced team can become the old slow team in one game. Jason Williams, it's the 3rd time Williams has fouled when Gordon or Heinrich were trying to drive. Here's Mark Jones.
Guys, I spoke with Heat assistant coach Bob McAdoo at halftime, and when he was looking at the stat sheet, he circled the mere 12 minutes that Shaquille O'Neal played in the first half. He said, we're not going anywhere with him on the floor for just 12 minutes. He said he spoke with Shaq before the game about his foul situation, said, if you're going to get fouls, make sure you get them at the defensive end. Apparently like that, not at the offensive end. Meanwhile, defensively, they got into Nocioni. They have to get into him a little bit more. That's the tenor out of the locker room, guys.
That was Mark Shaq's 4th personal foul, and they are asking just to make sure who it was on the Miami side.
Shaq seals off the lane. I'm not sure how this is a foul on Shaquille O'Neal. But if you're just standing there and the guy runs into you, and he's there 2 feet in front.
I've known you long enough to know that your eyes have gone bad.
Circle.
When he puts that big arm up, and this is one of your big complaints about centers, they play with their arms up instead of going to make the block. You got that foul.
I thought Riley was going to let him go there with 4. He had talked about with us last week, at some point I got to let him go with foul trouble, but it's way too early in the 3rd to keep him. So just 2 minutes and 7 seconds for Shaq here in the 3rd period after he played 3:30 in the 2nd.
Shaq is not moving as well as he was earlier.
And where did that foul emanate from? Speed. Speed. They blew past the top again. Heinrich came in, and Shaq was the line of defense.
The Heat guards have to do a better job on the perimeter.
Antoine Walker dancing on the outside. This is going the other way. Offensive foul on the Heat.
Antoine Walker. Once he gave it up.
2 on Antoine Walker.
Pat Riley trying to rally the squad here in Shaquille's absence. This is where Chicago fell apart in the first half when Shaq went to the bench.
Heinrich off the Allen screen. Rebounded by Alonzo Mourning, so Mourning's going to have to give them significant minutes here. And remember, he only had 8 in the first half, only his 2nd game in 5 weeks. Walker up top, 3. And Scott Skiles, unhappy with that right away, calls a timeout. So Miami, for all the Shaq foul trouble, good run from late in the 2nd, within 2 here in game 4.
The NBA playoffs on ABC Sports, brought to you by Toyota. Choose any direction as long as it's forward. Toyota, moving forward. And Castrol GTX. Don't let sludge hold your car back. Get Castrol GTX.
It's game 4 of the best of 7 Eastern Conference opening round series. The Miami Heat, their franchise has never won A playoff game here in Chicago, fourth series between these two teams. The biggest reason for that up until game 3 on Thursday was they won up against Michael Jordan. Heat won the first 2 in Miami. Bulls won game 3 here, trying to even the series and send it back as a best-of-3 to Miami on Tuesday night. Out of the timeout, here's Heinrich. Second chance opportunity, and Kirk Heinrich knocks down the field goal. He is the third Bull in double figures. But he has 10.
You know, the Bulls played with a lot of confidence and freedom in that first half of play. As this game tightens up, let's look to see how their shots go in the second half, because they are a jump shooting team. They're starting to be a little bit short now.
That was the first second chance point opportunity in the entire game for Chicago. They need to find the Bulls do an offensive rhythm here.
Nocioni, free throws coming. Fans want the goaltend, and so does Nocioni as well, saying the net was pulled on while it was on the rim. Haslam picked up the foul, his first.
I like what he said at halftime. My coach has got me playing with a lot of confidence, and that is reflected by his attitude. He's aggressive and attacking at the offensive end, trying to push the lead.
But we're talking Andres Nocioni, who was one of only 2 players in his entire NBA playoff spring of 2006 to have a game that has 15-plus rebounds and another game of 30-plus points. Jermaine O'Neal being the other one.
He hits both, as we said, undrafted, great acquisition, part of this nice team that has been built by Executive Vice President of Basketball Operations, John Paxson. Scott Skiles, third year coaching this Chicago team that had the huge drought in the post-Jordan era. Haslam connects. Guys, Haslam's bounced back with 8 points and 5 boards here this afternoon.
In the first few possessions, the Miami Heat look like they're in more control of their offensive flow.
Gordon off the turn. Sweetney the rebound. Another second chance. Second one in the quarter. Haslam.
You can get a better look than that with that much time on a reset of a clock.
Jason Williams back to Walker on his tippy toes. Triples. And the Heat have cut it to a 1-point game. Miami's made its last 5 shots. They're going to Sweetney. Working on Morning. See a conversation between the officials. It goes the other way. And the Heat will have a chance to take the lead.
A little bit of adversity thrown at the Bulls. Let's see how they respond. I mean, they pretty much had it their way for the first 24 minutes in terms of freedom and no pressure at their end of the floor. Let's see if their defense now makes Miami tentative again.
The Bulls have not capitalized on the fact that Shaq has been a total non-factor today.
Walker 3. Rimmed it out. And rebounded by the Bulls. Should have been a foul on Antoine as he and Nocioni cross paths. And Antoine mouthing with Andres as they come up the floor.
They're trying to get into his head. That will not work. Andres will say, what? Speak English, please.
Gordon the runner.
Speak English, please? How about speak Spanish?
Oh, enough of this Chicago stuff, please.
Andres did a good job with Mark Jones. Of course, Mark's fine questions. The reason there. That at halftime, Haslam fumbles, still time, 8 on the clock. And here's that matchup, Walker and Nocioni. Sweetney was grabbing Morning's jersey. Heinrich on the push, Gordon at the line, blocked by Wade.
The acceleration of Kirk Heinrich. You would look at this guy and you would say, there's no way he could play at this level against Dwayne Wade, against Shaq, against Antoine Walker, and here he is, little Kirk Heinrich, just blowing by everybody.
He's not one of your winners of the genetic lottery?
No.
Not. But he is hard work and dedication. Nocioni, tough runner. Sweetney collects it. He was fouled as he was trying to grab it inside. Haslam for the second time.
Kirk Heinrich is one of those players like Magic Johnson, like Henry Bibby, who's just faster with the basketball than without it.
Miami guys just picked up 14 fouls here, just 1 on the Bulls. Quick triple. Wade the rebound.
Here's the guy that's got to get going offensively. He hasn't taken a shot here in the second half, but Dwayne has got to get going and call a foul against Alonzo Mourning on the screen.
The offensive foul on the Heat. Mourning picks up his second. This Miami team won 52 games this year. Pat Riley taking over for Stan Van Gundy, leading them to a 41-20 mark after Riley took over in mid-December. Chandler off the bench fights for it. Sweetney thought about it. Heinrich's a better shooter. Sweetney, they're doing a job on the offensive board and getting Miami over the limit halfway through the third.
The amazing thing is that Sweetney's going over the top of Alonzo Mourning. He's not in superior inside position. He's just beating him to the ball by coming over the top of him. Alonzo Mourning just not in rhythm or condition to play after sitting out 5 weeks with a severely torn calf muscle.
Well, they may be better off going with Michael Doliak then. You know, Doliak played well down in Miami in games 1 and 2. And even though he's not a great defensive shot blocker, he got him the extra shot. He made the open jump shot when it was there.
And that's always the risk you take when you're bringing guys back from injury.
2 for Sweetney, 9th overall pick in the 03 draft, who was acquired with Tim Thomas for Eddie Curry and Antonio Davis from the Knicks in this offseason. Averaged 8 points and 5 boards, starting half the games this year for Chicago. He's given the Bulls a 5-point lead. Jason Williams had to go low to catch it. They couldn't really set to shoot it. Nocioni out of the blocks. Mourning with the block.
Watch Heinrich. He's just directing everyone out there in both ends of the court.
Walker, corner triple. Nocioni flying into his own bench. New possession kept alive by Mourning.
They keep saying that Wade has to make a decision when to give it up and when to shoot it, but he's got to start shooting. He has not taken a shot, and you're not going to win with Dwayne Wade doing this.
Triple team, turned it over. Gordon going all the way, got fouled by Williams. And again, here are the Bulls in the bonus, getting to the line. They haven't played a good quarter, guys. They're shooting 20%, but they've got activity and caused more foul trouble. Mourning just picked up his 4th.
And if you Chicago just keep pushing the ball, and back to Dwayne Wade, we cannot ignore what happened between Dwayne and Gary Payton at the end of the first half. That kind of stuff, unless you address it immediately in the locker room at halftime, that can linger around and cause major problems.
Well, Payton is not playing right now.
Gary on the bench with Williams in. Guys, when we sneak in here, Cleveland, Washington, San Antonio, Sacramento is the TNT doubleheader tonight. And on NBA TV tomorrow, it is Pistons-Milwaukee Game 4. Milwaukee getting back in the series with the win last night on ESPN. That game will be on NBA TV tomorrow evening. And of course, we have Game 2 of our ABC Sunday playoff doubleheader with Phoenix and the Lakers coming up next from Staples Center. Los Angeles looking to take the commanding 3-1 lead in that series.
Gordon has 7 1/4. The Heat are going to take a timeout, but you've got to draw up some plays and turn Dwayne Wade loose in order to win this ball game here in Chicago.
Bulls shooting just 20% in the quarter if they've extended their halftime lead.
Game 2 of our doubleheader coming up at 3:30 Eastern on ABC. That's Tim Thomas. He's got a sprained left knee. Brilliant performance in Game 2. Trying to right the ship in Game 4 at Staples Center. Sean Marion, been outplayed by Lamar Odom so far. Sean shot 50% during the regular season, shooting just 43% so far in this series. That's coming up. Mike?
Yeah, Dan, 4 points and 5 boards off Sean Marion's averages. Mike Breen, Hubie Brown, Lisa Salters have that coming up next. Here the Bulls lead by 7. Shaquille O'Neal picking up his 4th personal foul. Here are the 4 fouls on Shaq today.
Running over Tyson Chandler the first time, then hacking Tyson over the top on a offensive rebound. Rolling to the lane there. Tough call against Tyson Chandler, and standing there, and somebody runs into him, and Shaq gets whistled for his 4th.
Only Shaq gets ran into. Everybody else, they need to get off their feet. They need to elevate and make the block.
You have no obligation to get out of anybody's way. If you're there first, it's your position.
You also have one big foot in the restricted circle. You are not the primary defender. Wade, as the Bulls surround him, draws a foul on Chicago.
But was Shaq already there before Heinrich left the ground?
Not doing the interpretation, just the possible explanations there. O'Neal has played just 5 minutes in the second and third quarter and taken 2 and made 2 shots.
How about the fact that Chicago's missed 9 of their last 10 shots, and yet they're still on a 6-0 brisk jog?
Yes, not a run. Gordon picked up the foul, his second. Alonzo Mourning back in. And going the other way as he took steps. You guys are right. Joe, just 5 weeks of rust. Hard to take off in an intense playoff series.
You know, and again, we come back to the best offensive player out there is Dwayne Wade. He has been setting up the table for everyone else, but at some point, he's got to set the table for himself. He's got to start making it happen and give his team some energy, as Ben Gordon has done for the Bulls.
Oh, man. Great move by Gordon. Miami's turned it over 5 times here in the quarter. The Bulls have extended the lead with an 8-0 run to 61-52.
Gordon has 9 in the quarter. Wade has none.
Dwayne misses everything. Walker to the deck. Turned it over. Luol Deng runs the floor. Heinrich looks at him. Gets the contact. And has free throws coming.
Quickness, speed, first to the ball, transition opportunities.
And 5 fouls now on the starting point guard, Jason Williams.
And so now you're going to ask Gary Payton to come in and play with Dwayne Wade after what happened at the end of the first half? Oh, yeah, my best friend.
And they had used Payton in several situations on Ben Gordon in the third and fourth quarter. And Gordon said he'd give him a little more problem than the other defenders when we talked to him yesterday.
What pot are you stirring? Peace was made at halftime.
Gary Payton, well, we can only hope. But Gary Payton has to realize that his role is different.
It's not the first time you've had a little tension on a playoff team, right?
But you're talking Dwayne Wade, who is the face and future of this franchise. As a role player, you can't come in and start calling him out.
And you see the impact of Shaq on the bench in foul trouble, and the Bulls getting the heat into the penalty early on. That free throw disparity is massive. Going the other way. Another foul on the Heat. Dwayne Wade picks it up. His second.
What defense. Tyson Chandler, even though the numbers are not there, has had a major impact on this game. Sliding his feet, much the way we've seen Kwame Brown do it.
Heinrich turns the corner. The dump for Day. Pat Riley will take a 20. A 12-0 Chicago run. Largest lead for the Bulls. Bulls by 13. And the Miami Heat have been poor in this quarter. Shaquille off the floor in foul trouble. Jason Williams picked up his 5th personal. It's a Miami team that has been unraveling within each other and turning it over 18 times, leading to 20 Chicago points. And all the foul trouble. Remember this incident here where it all got started in the second, talking defense. Payton and Wade with the frustration. And then that spilled over to the adjacent timeout as the conversation got heated. And Mourning and Walker and Riley all had to play peacemaker. It is a very tense Miami situation. You could sense, guys, that this team was slightly on edge coming into this game. And it's only boiled over into a poor third quarter.
But that is the pressure of wanting to win. And, you know, when you're not playing well, you get frustrated with your teammates. Payton trying to make it happen.
But the question coming into today was what kind of on-court leadership the Bulls were going to have. Not having the big game experience, it has played out. That is the on-court failure of leadership of the Miami Heat that has caused this debacle.
You know, leadership comes from results, and Miami's not getting any results right now.
Well, Miami's got 7 turnovers alone in the third quarter. Chicago, not a 1. And the Bulls have a 20-10 advantage in points off turnovers. There's one.
Second pass toward the rim for Chandler that Tyson needed to go for. Tyson's offense has struggled in this series, and he told me it's part of having to defend Shaq. Well, he hasn't had to do that, the mistakes he's made here. But there are the numbers, and guys, the significance of that free throw number is the Chicago Bulls are a team that have almost as many attempts as their opponents have made free throws for the season. They're small, they don't get to the line. Their opponents get to the line a lot. It's flipped in this game.
They don't have a post-up game, and their guards rarely drive the lane to get to the free throw line.
Doliak, his first hoop.
They've got 2 minutes to try to steady themselves, the Miami Heat. They've let the Bulls get a little life, a little energy again. Turnover.
Coming off the bench was Anderson. Derek comes away with it. Pick up on this team from Houston in February.
3-guard lineup now for Pat Riley, trying to find some sort of offensive spark.
Wade the spin. 3 to shoot. It'll be Wade. Heinrich does not go for that up fake on Wade. He knows it very well. And he gives him no space to go up for that jumper. He's right under him.
Tyson Chandler is giving the Bulls such an anchor in the back line of that defense. Impenetrable.
And Chandler is fouled and took it right in the face. That wasn't, I don't think, laying down for effect. I think he just got a good, solid, big forearm right across the face.
When you do go down, stay down for a minute. Catch your breath. Get up, walk it off. Get up there and knock down some free throws.
This is a different philosophy for you now. Lay down and lay out for the cameras.
Not for the cameras, just to regain your composure.
What do you think, Jerry Maguire?
Ooh, who does he play for?
It's a movie, Bill. One of your close personal friends was in that movie. Chandler, in his 5th year, came straight out of high school, Dominguez High School in L.A. Chris Duhon in for Ben Gordon. Chandler signed that big deal at the start of the year, guys. 6 years, $63 million deal, and they didn't get off to a good start this season. It was almost like, okay, I've got there, I got the big deal. But as the season went on, he improved. Top 15 rebounder in the league at 9 per game. Not a lot of offense, but a good defensive series so far.
Like Eric Dampier, plays better against the second-tier players.
Hayton knocks down a 3, and Miami, which ended the second quarter very well, trying to do the same here to cut into the Chicago lead, which is 8 with a minute left in the third. Nocioni up top. Chandler kept it alive. Deng volleyballs it to his former Duke teammate, Duhon.
That's the thing that the Bulls have done well here in the third quarter. Give themselves second shots. The defense has made them take some tougher shots, but they've been able to rebound it, keep it alive. Wade with the ball.
Good job by Doliak and Payton. Back-to-back trips on this top of the three-point line, screen and roll.
Chicago cannot pull it back. They have to continue to attack.
Haslam. That's his office. That's where he makes money when Wade drives and draws the D. Here comes Miami at the end of the quarter. They've scored the last 7.
They are so fortunate, the Heat, to be this close.
Here you see how Miami is done at the back end of the first 3 quarters here. Heinrich tries the Wade move, loses it. Payton has a chance. Did he get it off?
No.
Doesn't matter, and the third quarter comes to an end. So the Chicago Bulls lead by 6 as we go to the fourth, trying to extend Shaq and Wade and Riles and the rest of the group to a longer opening round series. The NBA playoffs on ABC will continue after this message and a word from your ABC station. The Bulls by 6. This is ABC Sports, home of the NBA Finals.
You're watching NBA Sunday on ABC.
Another circus shot. Oh my!
Home of the NBA Finals.
The Chicago Bulls care about their community and the community where they were raised. Bulls guard Chris Duhon was quick to respond to the hurricane that devastated the Gulf Coast back in August. In conjunction with FEMA, Duhon organized 3 emergency drives, resulting in delivering 3 18-wheelers of food, clothes, and supplies, raising over $400,000 in cash as well to help the estimated 10,000 left homeless in Slidell, Louisiana, Chris's hometown. NBA Cares continuing a tradition of basketball and service to the community. At a Salmon High School in Slidell, Duhon, who was part of the Duke championship team in 2001, on the bench, or on the floor, I should say, to start this fourth quarter of Game 4. Bulls trying to even the series as it goes back to Miami on Tuesday night. Michael Sweetney, and 1.
As Shaquille continues to sit with 4 fouls. How long does Pat Riley leave him out? He's going to have to get warmed up again. But right now, you got 12 minutes if you're the Chicago Bulls to say, I have to play better than I've ever played before to continue down this glory road.
Well, the wide body of Sweetney on display that last time. Doliak wasn't able to get around in front quickly and picked up the personal foul. But Miami had a little thing going there at the end of the quarter. Let's see if Dwayne Wade, who's become a distributor, did not score in the third, continues to find open teammates, and they score the ball.
That's a foul on Sweetney, who was pushing through Haslam, who was setting a screen. It's an interesting 5 for Miami here in a game that you want to get, game 4 on the road, to go back home 3-1. Pat Riley has Derek Anderson and Gary Payton in the backcourt with Michael Doliak, Udonis Haslam, and Dwayne Wade.
Sweetney and Chandler have both picked up careless fouls, like not against Shaq.
Anderson to Wade. Quick rise by Wade.
A broken play, and that is Wade's first score of the second half. But again, he was trying to split the defense, almost lost it. Doliak on the floor to make the save for Anderson.
Bulls have Heinrich and Duhan in the backcourt with Nocioni, Sweetney, and Luol Deng. Here is Nocioni.
That's a rebound you got to get if you're in red. You can't let that ball bounce to the ground. They were fortunate to have the inside position to get the ball.
Payton works, or Wade, I should say, on Heinrich. And Kirk comes to get the rebound, and he's fouled by Haslam. The contact that they had that was physical in game 1 continued in game 3 when it was Posey who knocked down Heinrich. Kirk got right back up after that one. This one, he's a little slower to get up.
And banged his knee. I mean, that was not an intentional collision as the Posey collision was. They were both trying to get to the ball. Haslam came in late.
But it appears as if the Heat have heeded Pat Riley's admonitions to say, let's move on and play with the dignity and grace that this game deserves.
Look at Sweetney spread out down low.
He's working on Doliak. Now he's got the size inside. I don't think Michael Sweetney thought there'd be many possessions in this series where he would have.
He's 3 inches shorter than Michael Doliak, at least.
But he's wider. Wade, pitch out, Anderson. Nocioni and Haslam fight. And a loose ball foul call on Haslam. That is his 5th. So Haslam and Jason Williams have 5. Shaq has 4. Mourning has 3.
And an incredible foul disparity in this game, because Miami, they have a ton of fouls, and Chicago, very few called against them. Total 24-12 Miami over Chicago in terms of fouls called, but Chicago, to their credit, they have been quicker to the ball, and Miami's had to reach and grab and hold to try to make up for that lack of quickness.
So the aggressor is the one that is getting the better of the whistle.
In this series, in the first 3 games, the Bulls had 8 more fouls than Miami. It was 83-75. So now it's about even through the series. Dang, a lot of dribbling. Was it out of bounds off Luol? No, it's off Miami. Is hit by Walker. So Shaq comes back in, guys. Essentially 2 minutes into this 4th quarter with the Heat down 9.
Attack him immediately if you're Chicago. Take advantage of the fact that it takes him a couple of minutes to get going out there.
Duhan lost it, got it back. Wade's extended arm forced the bad shot.
I think if you're the Miami Heat, you got to play this game in 3-minute segments. And each 3 minutes that are left, try to knock a couple of more points off the scoreboard till you get down in the final moments. You actually are close. Shaq.
Tremendous ball movement, the execution of the old triangle offense, in, up to the top, over, back in, jump hook.
Are you accusing Riley of using the triangle offense?
That was a triangle offensive position. Offensive foul. Sweetney again.
Moving screen on Sweetney. He picks up his 4th. He's the only Bull with more than 2. Ben Gordon back in.
You really want to stir this pot, don't you? You know, Riley wouldn't want to be accused of anything that Phil Jackson uses.
Geometry is not patented, Steve.
Payton and Anderson remain in the backcourt. Jason Williams 5 fouls. Ben Gordon, the defensive assignment on Gary. Shaq spacing for position. The kick out to Anderson, who has not played a lot in this series. Walker a three. Antoine Walker from Mount Carmel High School here in Chicago. Catholic Boys High School that turned out Donovan McNabb of the NFL. Chris Chelios of the National Hockey League. The Chicago native makes it a 4-point game. Gordon driving at Shaq. He got past Dwayne Wade, and in the Miami papers, those of you down South Florida, you read some of the columns this morning calling on Wade to be an elite player and step up his elite defense level like Kobe and Michael did in past playoff series.
He has been outplayed by a number of perimeter players for the Bulls in this series.
5 to shoot. O'Neal over Sweetney. No Sione the rebound.
If you're Chicago, run. Stay with your game.
Dang's pitch out. Gordon lucky to keep it alive. Sweetney. Dang got his own way, I think. His own teammates' way.
Shaq has changed everything. Right now, it's the Bulls who are intimidated underneath the basket.
Miami a chance to get it to 4 or 3. Anderson got Dang to commit. Walker a corner triple. Antoine Walker. He leads the Heat in scoring with 21. Timeout Chicago.
Luol Deng has to realize Derek Anderson is not looking to pull that trigger from the perimeter. You got to close down. That going for that fake just creates that entire offensive play.
5 threes for Antoine Walker, leading Miami. The Heat trail by 3.
Steve Nash, Phoenix Suns getting ready. Their playoff lives could be on the line. Down 2 games to 1. That's the second half of our doubleheader coming up at Staples Center. Let's go back to you, Mike.
Dan, thank you. Guy who's sitting right there in that studio last night and on a regular basis. Our buddy Scottie Pippen, 6-time champion here with the Bulls. You know, since the Jordan and Pippen days, there have only been, including today, a handful of playoff games in this building. This is the 5th in the last 7 years. They'd like to see a guarantee of a game 6 in here. What does Chicago have to do, men, to maintain the lead?
They have to realize that since Shaq has returned to the game, that Miami's defense has improved incredibly. Chicago needs to take care of the ball better and realize that right now they have got to come alive. They're in a very precarious situation of losing everything right now, Snapper.
Early offense has been their key to success in this ball game, and they've got to take that. They got to make these shots.
Andres Nocioni knocks it down again. 8 field goals. Nocioni has 19. The Bulls led by Ben Gordon, who has 22. 4 Miami players in double figures, but foul trouble with starters Jason Williams and Udonis Haslem with 5. Shaquille O'Neal has 4. From the corner, Derek Anderson, a 3.
Big-time playoff basketball is determined by who has the best player. Now, early on, that was Nocioni, that was Heinrich, that was Ben Gordon. Can any one of those guys come alive here in the closing moments?
Nocioni spinning. Walker fouls him, and Nocioni made sure that everybody within the state of Illinois could see it was a foul.
Well, if they don't call that foul, Mike, why would you even have a rule book?
This is worthy of Second City. And I don't mean the Second City. I mean Second City Theater. He made sure he acted the whole deal out. Nocioni comes to the line. 2 free throws. Fans chant Nocioni. 14 fouls on the Heat in the quarter. Just 1 on the Bulls. And here's Mark Jones.
Very successful on the court, Andres Nocioni. Still adjusting to the nuances of American culture, though, guys. Getting a lot of help from his next-door neighbor, who just happens to be his teammate, Luol Deng. The both of them hit the malls together on the road, dined together here in Chicago. And Andres told me before the game he learns a lot of the English language by watching movies. His latest, Transporter 2, is an action flick, guys. Go figure. Back to you.
The deep dialogue.
Yeah, you got to watch the language in those action movies.
The lead is 3 as we approach 6.5 remaining in the 4th.
I recommend thank you for smoking.
Anderson takes the 3 to Shaq over Sweetney. Count it, and a foul. O'Neal to the line for the first time today with a chance to tie the game for Miami.
Well, the three-point field goal in this quarter has been huge for the Miami Heat. They get another bucket from Shaquille O'Neal and a chance to get a traditional three-point play on this extension.
Shaq's first trip to the line today, and that is incredible for a player as Tyson Chandler checks in. But Shaquille O'Neal, who was near the top of every career playoff list, including free throw attempts.
If you're sitting on the bench, you can't get any attempts at anything. This can't be a shameful thing for Shaq today.
Shaq was 0-6 from the line in game 3. There's a Derek Anderson foul. And guys, again, second straight time, back-to-back quarters, the speed on the perimeter of the Bulls has put Miami into the penalty before the halfway point of the quarter.
Steve, I'm old enough to remember when Shaq would get 10 free throws in the first quarter of every game, and the entire team of opposition would be in foul trouble, and the coach's game plan was out the window.
Bulls got to make these free throws count. TNT tonight, Cleveland at Washington, followed by San Antonio, Sacramento. The home teams trying to square those series at 2. Same true tomorrow night on NBA TV when Milwaukee takes on the Pistons in game 4.
That breaks the string of 3 straight misses for the Chicago Bulls, and a 2-point advantage for them.
Huge free throw disparity because of that Bulls speed here today. Wade got all the way to the rim. Wade's second field goal of the half. All tied at 76. Miami's come back from down 13.
And that is why when you step out on that pick and roll defensively, you've got to turn him back the other direction.
Chandler set the great screen on Peyton. Heinrich the hoop.
The strategy against Shaq always involved him in the screen and roll. He's not coming out. You're going to get any wide open 15-footer you want.
Chandler can play aggressively with O'Neal defensively. Tyson only has one personal. Wade looking to heat up again. Heinrich didn't go for that up fake.
If Chicago's not aggressive and assertive, they are not going to win this game. You are not going to back into a victory here today.
Well, they've been the aggressor the entire game. Miami has come back on the three-point field goal, and they have to continue to score the ball. 9 on the clock for Nocioni.
Walker closed out on him, forced the pass away. Was it deflected by Peyton? Yes, it was. There'll be 4 to shoot for the Bulls. 5:13 to go, and we have a timeout. So the Miami Heat were down 13. Shaq in foul trouble. Jason Williams with 5. Udonis Haslem with 5. But Walker and O'Neal and Wade have brought them back in it. The Heat trying to get home with a 3-1 lead, trail by 2. First game of our playoff doubleheader.
The NBA playoffs on ABC Sports, brought to you by Chevrolet, America's brand, Chevy, an American revolution.
Back here in Chicago, the Bulls leading the Heat by 2, trying to square the series at 2. Lowest scoring of the 4 games thus far in this series. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. The Texas Rangers take on the Cleveland Indians tonight. Baseball tonight begins the coverage at 7 Eastern. That's ESPN tonight. Sunday Night Baseball, the telecast presented by Taco Bell. Cubs were rain delayed but got going. They play Milwaukee over at Wrigley on the north side. Here are the Bulls with 4 to shoot. Out of the timeout, lead by 2.
Shaq has restored order to the universe here since he came back early in the 4th. The Heat on a 15-8 run.
Chris Duhon in as well, so the Bulls match Miami with 3 guards. Big possession, well defended on the inbound. Gordon triple. Nocioni came over, got the rebound, and draws the free throws. Steve, you said it before. We had several times where Miami players had the position, and a Bull without fouling has gone over the top to get the second chance.
You know, Miami is not reacting to the miss. They're waiting, and by the time they do react, the Bulls, Michael Sweetener or Nocioni has collected the ball, and now they're back at the free throw line. Last time Nocioni, he was trying too hard to make his free throws. Let's see if he relaxes and is able to drop these.
I perceive it as a lack of respect of Miami's part for these upstart Bulls, the youngest team in the playoffs.
Still?
Bunch of no names. Well, they're learning quickly. If Miami doesn't get this game today, now they're in for a dogfight all the way to the end.
Oshioni makes them both this time. The lead is 4. And Chicago extends its defense just a hair here as we come to the 5-minute mark.
Miami has been here a million times before. They know how to finish.
Wade off the curl, dish to O'Neal, beautiful play.
Nice pass. 6 in the quarter for Shaq.
The ease with which they get what they want. Can Chicago find that same sense?
What game are you watching? They've got nothing easy today.
You must have missed that last play, Steve.
1 out of 40, 50.
3-second violation called on the Bulls. Miami a chance to tie or take the lead again. The Heat have not led since 25-24. Scott Skiles' team has been on top since the second possession of the second quarter.
Oh, thank you, Mike. For letting us know nothing has been easy for Miami.
Heinrich, the defense on Wade. Trapped in there with nowhere to throw it. Fortunately off a ball. 7 to shoot.
Miami had 8 turnovers in the third quarter alone. They have yet to commit 1 into the fourth.
Derek Anderson, inactive game 1, didn't play game 2. Lots of minutes here, in part because of the suspension.
In and out.
Out of bounds. Yep. It'll be Chicago ball. The suspension of James Posey for his hard foul in game 3, and that plus foul trouble with Jason Williams, and we've seen Miami go deep into the bench here today.
But, you know, Miami's in this game now. They're only down by 2 points, and they've done a lot of things well here in the fourth quarter play. Chicago's going to have to keep making shots.
Gordon doesn't.
That was a tough left-handed floater.
Chicago doesn't have that go-to guy who can get a great shot all by himself. Miami has at least 3.
Here's one of them, Wade. Wade ties the game at 80 inside of 4 minutes.
6 in the quarter.
Yes, Steve, we were tied at 76 2 minutes ago, so it has been low scoring and tight. Heinrich.
Pick and roll defense.
You know what I'd say about the genetic lottery? He got some good shooting genes.
You bet he did. He's got great form when he goes up and you watch him practice.
He's got a great mind.
He's a good defender on Wade. We've learned that. Chandler tried to deny Shaq the catch. The foul is called on Tyson Chandler as the Bulls still only 3 team fouls in the quarter, so it's Miami ball out of bounds.
Give Miami credit. They have stuck together through adversity, supreme
stress, pressure.
Absolutely.
And they're still in it. Down 2 with the ball with 3:23 to go.
Second half, our doubleheader coming up. Kobe averaging less points, but more rebounds and more assists than he did during the regular season. His team's up 2 games to 1 on Steve Nash, who reportedly will be named the NBA Most Valuable Player for a second consecutive year. Nash has done his part, but needs a little bit more help from his teammates. That's coming up. Second half, our doubleheader. Now back to Mike Tirico.
Thank you, Dan. Their head-to-head has been intense here. Game 4. Guys, we've seen this so often. The young team that kind of grinds now gets the veteran team looking old on the ropes. But 1 or 2 key possessions, Miami goes back home 3-1. The next 3 minutes could be the difference between a long 7-game series or Miami in 5.
And the numbers have turned for Miami, who are now shooting a better percentage than the Bulls. Remarkable. And have dominated the boards.
Walker free for 3 in the lead. Rimmed out, and the rebound by Duhan.
But when Duhan gets that rebound, why does he stop and pull it back out? The Bulls game against Miami has to be transition.
Heinrich using the Chandler screen, and it was moving, going the other way. Offensive foul on Tyson.
That's the play that you want. You want to get Shaq involved in the play, but you got to stop. You got to make sure that you're set so you don't turn it over and give Miami a chance to reload.
Third foul on Chandler. Offensive fouls. The team fouls remain 3 for the Bulls. Miami over the limit as we are inside of 3 minutes.
Bring it up one side, swing it, flash Shaq into the post.
Chandler defensively wraps him up. They say on the floor, a pre-shot foul. Riley can't believe it. There are no free throws with it because the Bulls aren't over the limit.
Well, Chandler's doing the right thing. He knows at that point he is beaten. He's not going to let Shaq get his arms up and get into the shooting motion. And if they do, best thing, Shaq goes to the free throw line.
Chandler with 4 fouls. Problem is, you can't give up fouls that late.
Wade took Heinrich in the paint. Anderson free for 3 in the lead. Derek Anderson inactive and not playing in the first 2 games. Acquired from Houston in February with the big hoop. First lead since the start of the second for Miami.
The Heat growing with every breath, and we're seeing shrinkage on behalf of the Bulls.
Heinrich and Payton with heavy contact. Foul Miami.
You're not bringing shrinkage back.
Heinrich an 82% shooter. 2 on Payton.
The Bulls have to run the same play they just ran. Keep Heinrich with the ball and allow him to make the play. A good free throw. Missed the first.
Yeah, Bulls have missed a couple of big ones here in the fourth. Gear up for the playoffs with caps from the NBAstore.com. Wide selection of styles for all teams. So shop now, NBA Store on NBAstore.com.
Who's going to be the player for the Bulls to look at all these incredible forces for Miami and say, look, we're better than you are, and I'm going to just take it right at you. We are not going to lose this game if you're Chicago.
All tied at 83. This possession takes us to 2 minutes. Pitch to Anderson, feeling it. Short. Rebound, Duhan. Gordon always likes to take big shots late, whether he's hot or not.
You've got Gordon, Nocioni, and Heinrich. Those should be the guys to make the plays and the shots.
Duhan got it! Chris Duhan! What a time for his second field goal. Miami calls timeout.
Now that is a great champion right there, Chris Duhan.
They have been able to take the ball from one side of the floor to the other and then find someone driving. Duhan with the lead.
Much as it did in the old barn that used to be in the parking lot now across the street in Chicago Stadium. United Center rocking here on a weekend afternoon in the spring. Nothing better than a big playoff game here in Chicago. There you see the timeout situation. Heat can stop it once. The Bulls 3-time. Miami ball with 1:42 to go.
Only having 1 timeout is a significant detriment to Pat Riley's hopes and dreams here. I beg to differ. The place next door, that was a temple.
Derek Anderson remains on the floor with O'Neal, Antoine Walker, Gary Payton, and Dwayne Wade. Heinrich communicating with Chandler, Duhan, Nocioni, and Gordon. The defense for the Bulls. Full shot clock for the Heat.
Shaq out to set the pick and roll.
Heinrich right under it. Wade rises up, misses. Gordon the rebound. 90 seconds left. Nocioni with Walker watching. To Gordon's hand.
Well, they're trying to get that ball to Gordon so he can turn the corner and get inside.
Heavy contact. Duhan bails him out. 5 to shoot. Heinrich, deep 3. Got it! Miami takes its final timeout. Kirk Heinrich, the big shot. Man, oh man, a deep 3. We're seeing Kirk Heinrich emerge as a star in this opening round series. House rocking here in Chicago. Same will be true at Staples Center. Game 2 of our playoff doubleheader. Lakers, Suns next. Miami out of timeouts. Down 5. 1:09 to go.
They've taken Shaq out. The free throw liability is a major factor here.
Wade gets all the way to the rim. 3-point game.
That's all they wanted. They wanted a quick score. They got time now to come down and get a stop, and that's what they've got to focus on. They've got to control Nocioni, Gordon, and Heinrich.
They've been the 3. They have combined for 65 of the Bulls' 88. On the switch, Walker, Heinrich right around him. Who's open? He tried to find Gordon. Couldn't. Turnover by the Bulls. Miami a chance to tie. No timeouts for the Heat.
You have to be able to get what you want, not just what the other team gives you. Scott Skiles pulling his hair out, beside himself.
If you're the Bulls, you want to play good, hard, straight-up defense. Don't get a foul on Dwayne, who's trying to make it his own.
Chandler came over for help. 2 Bulls down. Haslam missed it. Wade missed it. And Duhan comes away with it. Chandler is hurt behind the play. Chandler hurting his left ankle. Skiles trying to get a timeout. And did they get the timeout or the foul? Let's see. They get the timeout first. Tyson Chandler. Oh, no, they got the foul on Wade before the timeout. Skiles was yelling for a timeout, but they do get the foul on Wade, so we'll have the free throws. The concern here for Chicago, the right ankle of Tyson Chandler.
The pogo stick play in the basket area, every player's worst nightmare. No one able to get a rebound for Chicago, but now we can only hope that Tyson Chandler is going to be okay. And that does not look to be the case.
How about all the tries Miami had right around the basket area as well?
Point blank range. And you see Chandler is down in the paint when this shot goes up. And he's trying to go up and comes down on his teammate.
And then Haslam had it in there and Wade had a chance. But you see Chandler is in a great deal of pain. Remember, game 5 of this series is on Tuesday night in Miami. And they will go every other day the rest of the way. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday.
The short-term view clearly in favor of the hometown Bulls here, but with this injury, that changes the entire dynamics of this series.
Take a look at this.
Look how high he got in the air, Chandler. Forcing that miss, but then everybody else thinking, we don't want to foul, we don't want to foul, but you got to play it all the way through and get the rebound. Everybody from Miami having just short stick-back opportunities. Duhan will now be going to the free throw line. And with the exception of this injury, a lot of things looking real good today for Chicago.
Well, you say short term. I mean, you know, Miami.
I'm talking 26.3 seconds.
Oh.
And a 3-point lead with Duhan going to the line for 2 shots.
Oh, I see.
This is long term here, Steve.
Oh, okay.
Chandler not able to even limp off as Luke Schencher, the backup third center, helps the Bulls medical staff carry Tyson Chandler off. And Chandler scored just 1.3 rebounds, but a huge impact within the game today.
You hate to see anybody injured, and whether it changes the complexion of a series or not. This will put a great deal of strain on the Bulls' interior if he can't return for game 5.
Because remember, all the fouls Shaq drew in the first half, 4 of them were Chandler, whether it was defense or on the other end.
There's no way they would have won this game without Tyson Chandler's presence. I'm not sure if I've ever seen a player with worse numbers have a bigger impact. 1 point and 3 rebounds and 4 fouls.
Guys, it was
and 3 turnovers.
I'm sorry, Bill. It was interesting. Skiles was trying to get the timeout called, and next year they're talking about letting the coaches call timeouts. Wade ended up with the foul on Duhan, who hits the free throw to make it a 2-possession game. Last year, that very well may have been a Miami or a Chicago timeout before the Miami foul.
But would the referees even have been able to have heard that?
I know, that's part of the problem with that rule. Duhan makes both. No Miami timeouts. 26.3 to go. Shaq on the bench still. Jason Williams in, going for the quick 2. Never got there. Haslam cleaned it up.
Get the ball in and get running if you're Chicago.
19 seconds left. Haslam comes to foul. Nocioni. Of course, there's a tension about all hard fouls, but we've seen millions of playoff games later just trying to get to the guy and foul him. For Haslam, it's his 6th. He leaves with 12 points and 9 rebounds.
The guard domination for Chicago today. Kirk Heinrich and Ben Gordon have completely outplayed Dwayne Wade and Jason Williams. 43 points to 22 points combined. And the field goal percentage for the Chicago backcourt, 50% shooting on the way to that 43 points. Miami, a woeful 35%.
If you're the Miami Heat, you got to try to extend the game. You're down 3. You got to hope that Nocioni gives you 1 miss, and then you can come back and score quickly. Take the 2, don't take the 3, and then foul 1 more time.
Shaq back in here for the Heat. Nocioni, 2 free throws. 6 of 7 today. The box score number that's going to jump out at you online or in the paper in the morning is that the Bulls, after this one, will have 24 more free throw attempts than the Heat. Only Wade 4 times and Shaq once have gotten to the line in this game.
Chicago cannot just play concession defense here if they want to hold on.
5-point lead, 2-possession game. As the clock runs down, Bulls try and square the series. The handoff to Wade, looking for room for a 3. Deng was very fundamental, didn't go up in the air. It's out of bounds. Chicago ball, and the Bulls are going to head back to Miami and square the series. Unbelievable turn of events. Inbounds to Heinrich, he's fouled by Anderson, and the United Center fans are saying, hey, we're coming to a game Thursday night. Game 6 in here Thursday night.
What a day, what a game. But this whole series is now different because of Tyson Chandler.
Well, the Bulls did what they had to do. They had to come back. They had to hold serve. They've held serve. And now it becomes which team can win on the road if they're to win and move on. Heinrich, another unusual miss after the big jumpers he's made. He's been at the line with nobody's guarding him, and he's missed the front end.
Get you right to LA for Phoenix LA game 4 coming up next. Heinrich makes 1 of 2, 6-point game. Final 5 seconds here. Williams to Walker, takes the 3. It is insignificant. The Chicago Bulls have come back to square this opening round best of 7 at 2 games apiece. We'll have game 5 on Tuesday, game 6 back here in the United Center on Thursday. Ken Wolf produced, Ken Dennis directed, Jim Stamos the stats with Mark Jones, Steve Jones, Bill Walton, Mike Tirico. The Bulls win 93-87, series tied at 2. Game 4, Suns-Lakers, Mike Breen, Hubie Brown, Lisa Salters coming up after this from your ABC station.